Okay, I guess we can start off just because of time. Uh our our speaker for today is not necessarily a guest. Most of you have related with her during your soft skills classes, and it's Professor Judy, and today she'll be speaking to us about rejection. Especially when you're job hunting, there are just days you just feel like, I have applied for so many jobs and I keep getting rejected. And so she'll just speak to us about that. She has a lot of years of experience, so I'm sure she's been rejected. I don't know. We'll just listen to her based on that. Prof. Judy, I don't know if you can hear me. The floor is
Yes, I
yours.
can. Yes, I can.
Karibu sana.
Yes, I can. You know, people always think I just woke up and I was working. They
Eh,
rarely get to remember that even some of us have been through these experiences, which got better with time. That's the beauty. It got
yeah.
better with time. Are we able to see my screen?
Yes, we are. You were able to see your screen, yeah.
I think the part I'm not able to see is, I don't know how I've shared it, because now I can't see any chat or anything.
I think you've shared it, I don't know, as a window,
I did, yeah, as a window, yeah.
or now we can see it clearly.
But you're seeing it, but okay, fine. If I do a slideshow, it doesn't show, does it?
It's showing as a slideshow right now.
The slideshow.
Yeah, that's what
And
I'm
it's
seeing. Because I believe if you go to next, yeah. Because the first time you were showing that, now it's a window. Go back to the way you had done it before. It's still a window.
yeah, but
Now
I
you
wanted
stop.
it to be, like the way we normally do it. Let me see. Computer sound share. Yeah, because I want to be able to see my niece. Stop
Attendees.
presenting. Yeah, I need to see the attendees, but I can't seem to see them. Okay, so if I open that, then you see I can't see the. No, but just the way we usually just present. Okay, I know what to do. Stop share. Now I do this. You're able to see the slide now?
Yes, now we can see the slides.
Okay, awesome. I think I got it the way I wanted it now.
Okay.
So yes, so good morning. Good morning. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
You're right, Prof.
Good
Good
evening.
morning.
They talk. I
Yes,
think
good
they just listen
evening.
to you. I'm so offended, but it's okay. Ni sawa.
Pole sana, pole sana.
Nilikuwa
Mwambie
najiongelesha
asitouch.
prof.
Hatukuwa na content ya kusema.
Sorry, Joy.
Aya,
It's okay. It's okay,
sawa
Joy.
tu, sawa. Okay, sawa. We can continue.
Prof
All
atuachie
right.
session ya kukuongelesha sasa.
Sawa, mtanitafuta tu, tutatafutana.
No, it's all right. So welcome everyone to the session today. It's more of a discussion session on a topic that I hold closely, dearly to my heart. Because for some of us, it's, the people who just sails through. It's like they were born on Sunday. I was born on Sunday, so I know. There are people who just sail through, first application, you sail through, you get a job, you start way above the others. There are people to whom it's just easy. You just managed. For you, there was no struggle. There are some of us who struggle in the beginning. No, you don't struggle in school, top student, top everything, jobs. So the issue is, how do we handle rejection, especially when we are young, we are hopeful, we already have our vision 2030s. By the year 2030, I'll have graduated, I'll have gotten a job, I'll have bought my first car, I should have been married, finished even having children. Now I'm concentrating on investment. We all have those plans, and that is nice. Unfortunately, sometimes things don't work our way. And when that happens, that is where rejection sets in. Now, are there times when you don't get any feedback from your applications? Have some of us ever applied? Just raise a hand. You've ever applied for a job? Nothing. It's like you don't know whether it even reached. It's like you don't know whether it ever even reached. You know, it's like you don't know whether you sent to the wrong email, or did these people even see this thing? I mean, what are these people? So you're not sure. And I think a number of us have actually been through it, and so am I. And the lucky thing is, at least you can keep checking the email from your house. You know, when you keep checking the email from your house, I can see all of us, most of us have been through it. It's easy when you can keep checking. Hey, imagine in our time, we had to go to the post office. So when you are job hunting in my time, you needed to be the one who has the key to the post office. And you are always on the way to the post office, because that is how we got our letters. That is how you knew whether there was an interview coming or not. For some of us, again, for those of us who were in the villages, the letter had to go to the primary school near you. So you pray, the headmaster becomes your best friend. For some of us, it was the chief, the letter would come to the chief. The chief becomes your best friend. And you are hoping they actually give you the letters. So you see, sometimes it is one thing when you don't get feedback at all. I'm going to ask again, have you ever received a regret letter after a job interview? You went for an interview, then they're like, I'm sorry, now you see. They start with, it's a long story. And they're not mean people. They're there. They're just saying, oh, now you know, you see, you know. Let us look at as a sample of them, the kind of regrets that we see. So I'm so sorry, my dears. You're not the first ones, unfortunately. It's something that has happened to quite a number of us. Now let us see a sample of these regret letters that we receive. Where is it? This one. Okay. Let us look at this one and we see how this one looks like. Where is my presentation? Let's start with this one. Of course, I looked for generic ones that are online so that we don't have to struggle with the people's names. So in this one, they have said, I hope you can see my screen, Joy.
Yes, we can.
Hi, Ed. Thank you so much for your interest in the sales manager position with the company. We appreciate you taking the time to visit our offices and interview with our team. At this time, we have chosen to proceed with another candidate who has more leadership experience. However, we were impressed with your background and industry knowledge and feel you would be a great culture fit for our company. We will be posting a few sales positions in the coming weeks and hope you'll consider applying again. Otherwise, we wish you best of luck in your career endeavors. If you look at Ed's letter, at what point have they said no? At what point is the reject? At where is the reject in which paragraph? Where exactly?
I think, Prof, you are sharing a different sample letter from the one
Really?
that you've just read to us. So the one that you're reading to us
is different. This one of, okay, we can start with the one that I'm seeing. The one of, thank you for taking the time to meet with me for the job That one.
Yes.
It was a pleasure to meet you and learn more about your skills and accomplishment. I have now had the opportunity to consider all the candidates and regret to inform you that on this occasion, we have decided not to further your application. This decision has been tough as the overall standard of the candidates has been high. However, we found that during the test, the other candidate had higher numerical skills. We would advise gaining further experience in the field and reapplying in the near future when more positions become available. So in this one, there's a clear word called regret. We regret to inform you that. Okay? If this was your letter, what do you take of it? You know, when you start reading it, you start with the thank you for, it was a pleasure that I have now had the, until you reach the word. The word they have written there is, I regret to inform you that on this occasion. So that is where you stop reading the letter, you throw it away. You are like, wow, another regret. You don't even bother to read the down part. So let us first handle our grief. So we are now not reading this letter anymore because they have said we regret to inform you. That one, they are not taking us. Tuachane na you. We go to another one. That one we have seen for sure they're not taking us. So why are we reading it? And that is pretty normal. There's nothing wrong with that. Can you see the one now I'm projecting? The one I was reading earlier.
I think it's yet to come on my end.
Okay.
I can see it on my end.
Oh, it's
Yes,
now.
I can also see.
You can see
Yeah,
it
we
on
can
your
see
end?
it, Prof.
Yes. So this one is saying, thank you so much for your interest in the sales manager position. We appreciate you taking the time to visit our offices and interview with our team. At this time, we have chosen to proceed with another candidate who has more leadership experience. However, we were impressed with your background and industry knowledge and feel you would be a better culture fit for our company. At what point do I stop reading? You know yourself, you've been through this. When did you stop reading?
I have chosen to proceed with another candidate.
That was the end. In fact, for some
Yes.
people, the days of real actual papers, you held the paper and you threw it away. You never really wanted to look at that paper again. In this one, you have to really concentrate. So there's excitement that comes when you receive the email. Just excitement. It's coming, it's coming. You know, I actually got, oh my God, I can't read. I remember my sister saying, did you actually read on my behalf? And then after you have read, then tell me what you have read. And then I want to know. One of the things we will learn today, that it is okay to feel that way. And there's nothing wrong with having that feeling. It is pretty okay to feel that it didn't work. I needed this job desperately. I really need it, but it's okay when the job doesn't come through. I hope you can see my slides now. A job regret can put you into a stressful path if you don't handle it well. But who are you to handle it well? Who are you not to feel bad? Just remember, don't get mad for not getting this job. Look at the positivities. Be gracious that at least you made it to the group of shortlisted candidates. So I'm handling the ones where you actually even went to an interview and you just didn't make it. Be grateful, at least you made it there. You made it to the group that was shortlisted. You are actually called for an interview. They didn't take you, but consider that as a practice session. I'm practicing for the next. I always say my job is coming. This was just practice. I'm practicing for this one. So yes, it's okay not to accept that I'm not reading the rest of it. They have regretted, so what? You didn't get any feedback at all, so you're just waiting. Sometimes it's good to know when the position has been filled. Keep checking that site. The people who learn that the position was filled, when they go to that site and they see we are pleased to have recruited or we have hired, you know, that one is gone. Hiyo imeenda, that one has gone. You might want to look back to how you applied. Maybe it's how you applied. But also I've come to realize that sometimes the position was just not for all of us. If you had 10,000 applicants and they were looking for one person, then you just did not become that one person. And again, 80% of the jobs are not advertised. And that is why we request the Seba Shuja graduates, whenever we throw jobs to you, some of us know how we get them. 80% nowhere. So, and sometimes it's advertised, knowing very well they already have somebody to take the job. I've seen government jobs where it's already tailor-made, where I knew I was qualified, but they have somebody else who they want. So they actually lower the standards to that person. And then they declare me overqualified. It is rightfully within, if you look at the existing structure, then I qualify. Actually, I meet. I'm in that institution. I'm working there. So I definitely qualify, but I know they can lower the standards just so that you are now overqualified and you don't actually meet those things. So those things are normal at the workplace. So when you don't get feedback, it's always good to continuously check. You're lucky, have a folder where you keep. In that folder, keep the job advertisement and keep the documents you applied with in that folder. Because you might apply again a second time and you lie this time, not knowing you had applied before. Where I got the job for research, I was actually recruited almost a year later. When they called for the interview, I did not even remember which organization this one was. And the job was for short-term research assistants. They didn't reply for a whole year. Then 1 year later, I received a call. Hi, Judy, you're required to be in for, and I listened. Then I was courteous enough to ask, and I'm sorry, you're calling from, and who am I speaking to? And when I come, I'm trying to even remember now which one is this one. It took a whole year. But in that year, I was equally applying for other jobs. I was equally doing research jobs in the middle. If a job came up, those days I did a lot of field work. If field work comes in, I accept and I move on. Remember, I already have my master's. When you're looking, it doesn't matter. Because I learned straight up to the master's in 98, then I started looking for jobs. So by the time I'm doing these research, small research jobs, I already know I have a master's qualification, but I need the 3 months or the 3 years that they're looking for that I don't have. So when I was doing my research, what I used to make sure is that when they ask me to just be a supervisor in a research project, first, I collect what is the name of this research all about. 2, who is the PI? That is the principal investigator. So when I'm writing my CV, I will write, I was the lead supervisor for the project led by these people, titled and the name. People start seeing, so me, I'm building experience. Where will I get it? And then I did that. In fact, it almost became my job. But I kept applying. So when you don't receive any feedback, it doesn't stop you from applying. It's good to be hopeful, but also guard your heart. It might come, it might not come. So it's as if you're doing push applications. Right now you do push applications. I'm applying. Whether they talk to me, they don't, I'm still applying. Those days I kept a full file, because ours now you are doing manual sending. I kept a full file. When I even had a catalog of which one falls where. When she said where that organization was, I went back to my file. I picked my application. I saw what was advertised. In fact, it was for short-term research assistants, which means they wanted like someone for 3 months. So I knew in my interview, I have to be available for 3 months if I'm going to take this job. And by the way, what is yours, because I remember I was pregnant that time, and they interviewed me, and amongst everyone, for some reason, the interview panel had men only, so they didn't notice I was a girl. I was pregnant. I only realized when I went for an SSF that the government does not employ pregnant women. By then, she asked me that, are you sure they employed you? Yes. Do they know that you're pregnant? I'm like, what? I don't know. And I was being truthful, I didn't know. And they still gave me the papers. And then I went, and then is when I asked the HR, by the way, the lady at NSSF asked me a very interesting question. She wanted to know whether you knew I was pregnant. Then he's like, oh, he asked me, so are you pregnant? I'm like, yeah, it's showing. Then he's like, by the way, you're not supposed to be employed when you are pregnant. So that information alone should have led to me not being taken. My friends, I was still taken. What is yours is yours. It's just a matter of time. Never give up. Continuously just apply. And I was employed and I worked there for quite some time. And I actually grew. It propelled me to where now I am. I don't regret that one. But remember, what is yours no matter what. But it is only yours if Judy had applied when it was advertised. It's only yours if when they called me, I went back and I found my application. It's only you as if you showed up at the interview. It's only you as if you behaved well at the interview. So they liked your skills as a person. And so now they're getting you. It is not you as if you saw it and you didn't apply. If they called you and you didn't show up. If at the interview you didn't take the necessary steps to even do a little bit research about the organization. By then now internet had come and I really researched on that organization, even looking at my skills and saying, if they ask me this question, how do I fit? Because it's short term. I went back through what is research? How do you do research? What is required? What skills do I have, Judy? So when I'm there, I actually, I'm very confident. And with my pregnancy, I was very confident and I sat. I don't blame them for not seeing. Maybe it's I dressed well. Naturally, when you're pregnant, you don't go showing your pregnancy everywhere. I dressed well. I actually prepared for this as if it was my all. Remember, it was short term, nothing long term. But I prepared as if this was it. And guess what? It became it. So when you don't get any feedback, it's all right, it's okay. It should not stop you from applying. That file was a thick file, the one I used to use for applications, a very thick file. In most of them, I went for the interviews, and in most of them, I didn't qualify because of, not because of academic qualifications, not because of the skills, but because of the experience. But I kept collecting this. So you see, every CV, as the CVs kept improving, one job leads you to another. Even in these short-term research jobs, my friends, I gave it my all. Because the first one never went, they were just looking for research assistants. I gave it my all. That by the next time I was being recommended by the same people again, they're like, take Judy, she can make you a nice supervisor. By the next time, it is word of mouth. It goes on and on. None of those jobs were eventually advertised. So you see, I started improving on what I have. Whenever you get a job, remember my words, give it your all. Show them you can do it. Don't compete. That small one is the one that could propel you to somewhere else. I have trained in I have trained in small places, but you hear somebody saying, there's somebody who lectured us on this topic, and she was very good at, why don't you not consider her? That time people have applied, and that you hear somebody saying, why don't you just call this one? Me, I think she's very good. And then they have the list of the people who applied, and they add Judy there, and we all set an interview panel, and then they realize why they said, why don't you consider Judy? So if you don't get feedback, my thing is, do not lose hope, do not feel bad. It is okay, just prepare for the next one. Now, we have the different stages of rejection. First, there's that feeling of, hey, again, one more time. Hey, Judy, when will these things end? You even talk to God and ask God, God, you're just seeing. You're like, Yani, God, me, I just sit here. People are just passing and you are not seeing me. I have prayed, I have fasted, I have tithed, I have been a good girl, I have read. God, when is my turn? When you're rejected, it's okay. You have to go through the phase. And then the more regrets you get, the angrier you become. It develops into anger. The denial part is, I'm too good for them. Even they is good. But the anger time is now when reality hits you that this job is not mine. It's gone. Especially if you had seen how much they were paying. And then especially if you know the crook they took, because probably they employed your classmate. And he's busy saying on WhatsApp or on Facebook, the way, thank God for Johnny Mercies, thank God for the God, he has remembered me, thank God. And you're like, hey? So they actually employed that one, who I was even helping with the assignment. And they left me. The anger is there. Then the next thing is the bargaining part, where you're like, You even say, I'll never apply for these jobs again. I mean, I've stopped. I will never. Never. I'm not applying again. But then now, at some point, you remember let me just apply. Maybe that is the bargaining part. Maybe if I had, or was I late? And then you get depressed over it. And finally you accept. And then you move on. These stages are just okay. It's just okay to pass through them. It's just okay to feel it. You are not a stone, for heaven's sake. You can feel bad if you feel bad. If the feeling bad comes, it's okay. My only advice is do not stay there for long. You cannot be in denial forever. You cannot be in denial forever. You cannot be angry forever. You cannot be, do I? You can't do that forever. Depression should be the least stage for you. But then a time comes, you're like, okay, fine, let me just accept. So for me, I'm a very strategic person. I hope strategic plans. And I apply and I purpose. My behavior is purposeful. I am going in it knowing that I'm not the only candidate and I might get, I might not get. So for me, just like my flower, always remember that however dark the moment is, a day will come and you will shine and you will blossom and it will work. However hard, however dark the background is, it doesn't matter. That's okay. It's not something you can beat yourself over. It's just okay. Disgust, it's just okay. I always say, however long a night is, morning must come. The sun must be out. However long a bad day is, evening must come and sleep must consume at some point. So this bad phase of rejection will eventually get over. And you'll start seeing light at the end. Because if you choose to stay in the darkness, then you kind of blur your vision and you blur your hope and you ignore the jobs and you don't see why you should need to apply. That depression is usually not a good one. I have sold secondhand clothes out of just not being idle. Remember, my master's is 98, I've had it. But when I got my master's, it was a time when if you didn't know someone, you didn't get a job. And we still sailed through. We still had to, you still have to pay rent, you still have to live. You still, if you have a girlfriend, you still have to take her out. If there are things, whether you are in that job that you want or you're not, you still have things, life still goes on. As you're waiting for morning to come, life still goes on. Don't stay in the dark place. That is where most of us lose the opportunities, in the dark place. Somebody who's shining bright sees opportunity, writes a letter with a zeal, I'm getting this one. But you're like, let me just apply again. In fact, you copy and paste the previous one with the mistakes that are actually there. So how do you handle rejection? First and foremost, allow yourself to accept the emotions that come with it. That's pretty normal. Allow yourself to accept it. However bad it came, just feel bad. It's okay to feel bad. We say grieve your loss so that it gets out of you. Some girls cry. Some guys watch a movie or do something. Don't allow yourself to feel bad. It's just okay. If you don't allow yourself to feel bad for the time you require, you'll end up building answers because you're keeping emotions in your heart. And when you keep emotions in your heart, it clouds your judgment. So allow yourself to feel bad, grieve your loss, feel it. And grieving is one of the best ways of healing. Then always anticipate that whenever I'm applying, as much as I know I want this job, there's a possibility I might not be taken. So that when you're conditioning your mind that there is it is possible that these people might not take me. I usually say, if you don't want to employ me, don't take Judy to an interview. The mouth alone, I will make sure I get my way through. But I also know it is possible that there is an instant I might not be taken. I do know of an instance where I knew I was number one in that interview. I qualified in any way, in every way, but I still wasn't taken. I have those ones of you even have somebody tell you that, but then you did well, but I remember it's a decision of many. So whenever you apply, you're not applying to your own company. There's a possibility that these guys might not take you. You have to accept it. We have different Cyber Shuja cohorts. You might have been in the first one, but somebody in the second one gets before you. It's okay. It's okay. There might be something they wrote better than you. So once I've reached the acceptance stage where I'm like, okay, fine, Amanda, it's gone. That is the time you do your thorough analysis. And what I'm telling you are things I have done. Now, when I'm no longer angry, when I'm no longer feeling bad, I take my letter again and I read it objectively. What is the rejection letter saying? Why are they just playing with my heart to make me not feel bad? What is this letter actually saying? Let us read the letter again. What is the letter actually saying? Remember, that is when now you're like, my God, where did I throw it? Did I throw it in the dustbin? Did I throw it outside? Where exactly did I throw it? I'm sincerely hoping you can see my letter.
Yes, we can.
So let us read the letter again. Now we are not angry. Now we are okay. It is a pleasure to meet you. They learned about your skills. Now I'm underlining. I have had the opportunity to consider other candidates. We were many. They are informing me they're not taking me. It's okay. The decision was tough, which means I was a good candidate. I met their standards, so my skills were good. But however, they realized that the other candidate had higher numerical skills. That's it. They didn't say my numerical skills were bad. They just said the other one had higher numerical skills. Google is your friend. What are numerical skills? You know, sometimes you think you know what it is, but you don't. We would advise gaining further experience in the field and in the near future when more positions become available. So whatever it is, the numerical skills that you lacked, that is where you need to improve on. For this particular one, you need to just look, where did I go wrong? Is it something that, then you go back to the interview, but where were they checking these numerical skills? Sometimes they made you go through a speed test where they give you a limited time to actually do what? To answer questions. And then remember, but I didn't even finish answering those questions. So you are not fast enough, or I answered those questions badly. Try to remember the kind of questions they were. So it means therefore a speed test let you down. My friend, Google is my friend. I will start learning how to do the speed test. Download, it could have been a challenge that they gave us. Cyber, we give challenges, and this challenge, they can, they have, I didn't finish because probably I was slow. So I need to improve on my speed, or the routes I took did not lead to where I was supposed to be. This is an area now I need to work on. You need to really, now I'm reading objectively. I'm not angry. I'm reading objectively and wondering where did I actually lose out. So they have said, if other positions become available, I need to apply. So I put a star there and I put a reminder on my computer that if such things come up, then I need to know. If I'm doing a LinkedIn search or a Google search or a job search, that is a job that, so that anytime such a job comes up, you actually now apply for it. So this one, at least I'm not angry anymore. There was somebody who was just number one, I was probably number two, and they couldn't take two of us. And this one gives you hope. The goodness of this one is that you might find that the person they took does not even take the job. So this one, I still have hope. I don't, so if I'd thrown the letter, then I was unnecessarily angry. There are many times when people apply for jobs, they are called for those jobs, and they realize that these jobs are not giving them what they were expecting. Me, I'm thoroughly jobless. I will accept anything that they're giving as long as it's some good income, some decent income. They might actually call you back. and say, hi, Judy, we interviewed you some time back. Are you available? Don't be angry. Don't get mad. Just say yes. If you don't remember, just inquire which one, and they might actually pick you. So imagine, I always say, it's the argument of you got so angry and then there was no reason. You know, when you lose something in your house, and then you're like, oh my God, and the little has stolen, and just because you're number one on the list, and the little must have stolen my phone. Yeah, she's the one who was here. All right, and you make so much noise. Anne visited you and she has gone home, and you've made so much noise, and you're so angry. In fact, you have even called somebody. Imagine this, Anne. Don't even talk to her again, because this girl, I don't understand. We were only two of us here. And then later in the night, you find it just next to your table. You have silently accused Anne. You have gotten angry. Your pressure has increased. And then you realized it was actually, there was no need. So that is why you need to manage your anger. Sometimes it can wear you down only for you to have realized you wasted so much of emotion. So here they have advised you to gain more experience, which means if they call you for interview again, the only thing they need to check is, have you gained further experience? If you have gained further experience, sometimes the job might actually be yours. Sometimes I know of cases where they write these letters to see if you'll gain further experience, you learn from it. They actually call you 3 months later, knowing very well there's a position for you. If they see like you've made effort, then like this one, we can take him. It looks like he has made effort. If we keep him here, he'll be able to support, we'll be able to help him further. So that is one way of looking at this particular one. In the other one, they also gave us feedback. That's why it is important to go back and look at the letter. What exactly have they said? So for this one, what are they saying? Again, we appreciate you having to come. We have to proceed with other candidates who had more. What you lacked here looked like leadership experience. So you are a good fit, but what you're lacking is just leadership experience. But how do you get leadership experience? So the industry knowledge is fine. The culture fit is fine. Is leadership experience. Then you remember, see, when I would have written there that I was actually the prefect in my school, you know? Maybe it is you. That is where you go back and look at how you wrote your CV. See, me, I've been the one who has been the whatever. You realize, by the way, these are things you didn't write. If I had written this in my CV, then I would have actually gotten the job. But from the advert, I should have known what these people are looking for. So sometimes in the regret letter, learn to see what they're looking for, learn to understand what they want. Then the letter itself becomes a better thing for you. You might not work with the guys who wrote the letter, but fun enough, it can help you in other jobs now moving forward. So now you know what you missed in that one. That is why I say every letter is an experience for you to learn from. So you have read the letter objectively. Look at the advert again and review the kind of application letter that you wrote. Remember, you have copies. Look at the CV. So these people are checking numerical skills. In this job advert, where would I have imagined they would have looked at the CV? Look at how they have the numerical. Look at the relationship. You'll find that that was a critical thing in the advert which they listed. So whenever you receive an advert, again, make sure you have touched on the keywords that they're looking for. If you have any experience in that area, highlight it. And that is why CVs and cover letters are usually customized. Go and check your LinkedIn profiles. What have you written there? Social media profiles. What have you written there? Where my husband works, a case of somebody who is online, drinking very much and driving, and has applied to an institution that actually handles cars. And they're like, this one when he comes in drunk, the cars will be hit anyway. It is just a simple thing. You might find it is petty, but they have looked at your social media profiles and seen things. And I remember in one of my classes, a student asked, so does it mean I don't live life? You can live life, but when you're job hunting, there's what is acceptable life for somebody who wants to employ you. You cannot be shishaing nicely on your profiles, and it is fun, it is your thing, illegal in Kenya here, fun your thing, but somebody construes you in a particular way. So check your social media profiles, see how you, and that is why we are very particular about your LinkedIn profiles, see how you presented. Another place where people lose out is the referees. Make sure the referee you had actually talked well about you. Sometimes if you get a regret, they might have to ask you, by the way, did so and so call you? Sometimes it's good to prep them when you know you have been shortlisted for a job. They might be called. When you've done an interview, there's a high chance they'll talk to your referee. I get those quite a lot. And what if I'm blank? I didn't even know you used me as a referee. I'm like, actually, Bernard. Which Bernard? Oh, Bernard. Oh, okay. That Bernard. And this was supposed to be a character referee. My friend, it doesn't work. Some referees are mean and they hate people. I know of one where the referee wrote, comfortably employ at your own risk. And we had to go and find out why we would employ at your own risk. And the job is for the people recruiting were people known to me. And then they shared. And when I asked another colleague of mine, why would Mr. So-and-so write for this guy that employ at your own risk? Only to discover the photo of a girl. And you still have the same guy as your referee. What do you expect? As you know, I wasn't thinking, I thought I even left the girl for him. I don't even have a problem with them anymore. So I even thought, no, you are always competition to the end. And if yes, you get a job, you might take the girl again from him. So your referees are also people who, when called sometimes, so make sure the referee that you have is somebody who is on your side. Review the interview process. Did you answer the questions well? Were you shaking? Were you confident? Replay the thing again. Now we are being objective. We are not angry. You could have even gotten angry after the interview. This one I have not gotten. But remember in the interview process, remember how you look. I always even take a picture of myself just to see how my hair looked. Remember how you dressed properly. Remembered how you entered. Remember, try to write notes. Or is it that the dress was too short? Or is it that, I think that HR guy didn't like me, but why didn't he like you? You are doing postmortem of your application and seeing where you could have actually gone wrong. Remember, we are being objective here. Then you're like, okay, fine. Where you're not so sure, ask. And if you know somebody in that company who can give you a feedback, ask them. I want to know how come you are not taken. What did they consider when they were not taking you? So that did I mess up at the interview process? Could I have answered some questions nicely? So now, if I failed a question, it becomes my next thing. I am researching on how to answer that question should the interview process come in. Because when the interview comes, another interview comes, and I've not researched on this interview process, I can end up making the same mistake again. The mistake I made in the last interview, I keep repeating it in every interview, and I'm never employed because of that process. So now I learn. I go on and learn. I need to improve on this. This is what has happened. And you do a self-assessment. I did badly there. And maybe that's an area I need to improve on. Or where you realized you are shaking. Some people have stage fright, and you reach the interview and you are shaking. Google again is your friend. Read a lot. How do I get out of stage fright? Learn to improve yourself. You're the one who knows in the interviewers that you had a stage fright. Learn what do I have to do to not have a stage fright so that when another interview comes, I am prepared. List down if there's anything you need to improve on for the next time. Whenever a war ends anywhere, the winners are not happy. They're happy, of course, but that's not the end of it. Immediately they start preparing for the next one. In case we're attacked again, what strategy can I use? The same works for you. You write down a list of things to improve on, look at your shortcomings and work on them. Accept your situation and move on. It's their loss. If you give it your best shot, you're good. If there are things to work on, you work on it, but always keep applying. So remember, the first thing is acceptance that it has not worked, but never let it hold you down for long, so that the grieving your loss stage helps you move to the stage of objectivity in terms of how I actually handled myself. So keep applying, don't stop. The future is actually bright for you. You can also experience rejection at the workplace. Imagine you've been employed. You don't know what is the problem of these people. First, nobody's talking to you. First, you wonder why there are chances you'll always be a threat. It is petty to the extent that for some of us who are young girls, the older ones might look at you differently for their own reasons. Sometimes it is a skill you've come with. People fear you'll take their jobs. Sometimes it is, but you see, you can't live that life. Because at the workplace, it is difficult when you are a threat to people or you are hard. It's not easy for them to live around you. All this one has come from Harvard. All this one has come from USAU. All this one, you know these people of, all this one, the uncle brought him here. This one, in fact, if it wasn't for the auntie, they wouldn't have gotten a job here. People hate your auntie, but they're putting it on you. It is possible to face rejection at the workplace. My feeling is stay focused. It doesn't now matter how you got in, my friends, you're in. And you're not going to let people's anger, people's issues affect this job that you finally got. You are in, stay focused. What brought you here? It's good, and don't catch feelings, talk to them. Be polite, good morning. Even if they say, they sneer, just keep saying good morning, they'll get tired. What took you there? Do it and do it well. Unfortunately, when there is rejection at the workplace, you need to be able to put in more effort on your work performance, because now people will be looking for the mistakes you do. A small mistake is made to be like as if it's a firing mistake. So you also don't want to enter into anybody's bad books, and good performance is also always rewarded. Or sometimes that good performance is the reason for rejection. Yeah, nowadays when the boss comes, he just asks for Brian. Us here, we are like, we are nobody. Nowadays, they're just asking for Chelsea. Us is like, us, we are not. Me, you wonder this, and as we came here a long time ago. Me, I have learned what keeps you going is performance. So for you, you have to work on your performance and achieve it. Let your good name sell you. That even if they succeed here, you will be so surprised that somebody noticed and recommended you somewhere else. Create strong boundaries between what you can do and what you can't. I know there's a way you struggle to please people, to fit in, but don't do things you can't do forever. You're like, oh, you guys, let me buy you lunch today. That was yesterday, again today. Tomorrow, just go alone. You'll buy for them every day. No, you don't. Create very strong boundaries. Do not start a habit you cannot sustain. Do not start, like, especially like for the young boys, the girls know how to help make you buy lunch for us throughout. If you can't sustain it forever, don't do it. Look for somebody who goes for lunch like you and then work with that. You might be surprised they're also waiting for someone like you. If you know you don't have that lunch money, you have not been eating lunch, you can't sustain it, then don't. Create a boundary between how your behaviors are at the workplace that are sustainable to you. On the other hand, should you achieve better than them, do not taunt them or make them those ones of jackpot. See me now. You people are busy sneering here. What are you? See me now. I'm the guy. Judy, you made it, huh? I'm the one. Judy, you succeeded. Look at them. They're just thinking, they're just here non-status. I will show you that this place is meant for me. Don't do those things. Because you'll also have a bad day one time. Don't create unnecessary enemies. Be somebody who's all-inclusive. Everybody, you don't have to be to please everyone, but at least within your boundaries, you're doing very well. Build your own resilience, how to handle rejection, how to handle grief. If you go and cry in the toilet, when you come back and your eyes are red, we will notice she has been crying. Learn to have that hard, whatever kind of life. Those ones of, I'm not going to let these things hurt me. I came to work and I go to my desk and I work and then I do well. I have a colleague, does the same thing, comes to work, does very well, carries everything he needs, carries his breakfast, his lunch, his supper, warms it in the office. He's just pretty happy and fine. And he's okay. That is his life. You are going to deal with the own airspace out there where you're gossiping probably about Judy. Learn to build your own resilience. Stand out. Be philosophical and realistic. Don't expect at the workplace that the world will curve to your life. You know me, I don't like being shouted at. You know me, I don't like being corrected like that. You know me, I don't like, this place, people, they just hate me. No. You are at the workplace. Be realistic. You also have to fit in objectively. It is not about you all the time. It's not about you and how you feel all the time. You're working with the people. And so you just have to figure out how to survive there. Philosophical means I'm doing things the right way. Realistic means I'm doing things the right way. I know what the boundaries actually are. But of very strict importance, you must always know when this thing is becoming toxic for your mental health. I'm saying don't be a baby at the workplace where something small, you're crying, you're getting hurt, you're depressed. But it's also good to know because some people are mean and they're nasty. You need to know if this one now has to end. They're nasty, they're not nice. And probably the uncle owns the company. And I'm like, oh my God, Judy, now hey, this one, For my girls, don't succumb to even any sexual, that shouldn't be a reason why you have to work there. That is toxic, that is not nice. You can't allow people to use you. You can't allow old women to use you. You can't allow older men to use you. You can't. Some people put you in a place to make you needy to them. You can't. Politely say, I don't do those things, and I'm sorry. Then you'll start feeling them behaving in a manner towards you, talking about you. But I'd rather you talk that I didn't do than to talk that I did. And for me, it has worked for me. Sexual advances, no. I don't do it for promotion. I don't do such favors. It is my trademark. I am known for it. I don't. And people learn to respect that. When people are now deleting your files, that needs to come to management. I did my work yesterday. I cannot find my files anymore. I do not know what the problem is. You'll be surprised what you're going through. Other people have gone through, and they actually know what you're saying is true. They even know who has done it. It is good to be frank and say, I know I did the work. I left it here. So one of the things I save myself, especially for work that I know is on a common shared space, I always send it to myself if it's possible. So if I send it to myself, even if you come and delete my files, you won't delete my email, I will download it tomorrow. For some reason, I've lived in toxic environments and I know them, but you need to know how to handle yourself there. So rejection doesn't just have to come at the initial stages. Rejection also comes at the end once you're working. If you are in the group that now remained unemployed, it's okay. Cast your net wide. Continue with more applications. Keep an open mind because I'm objective with jobs. I volunteer at places that I find interesting to keep my days going. I keep looking for short-term jobs, the ones that will keep me not be broke, because you also don't want to go broke thoroughly. And for me, I communicate with others and I network thoroughly. For me, I live like my flower, out and there, happy as possible, accepting reality, working hard. I have to shine, so the flower has to be in the sunshine. I have to shine, and that positive mind allows me to continue looking. I have purposely, for the things, like when I was looking, I purposely decided that 1 hour every day would then be when I want to do consultants, when I want to do something, I purpose 1 hour every day. I will concentrate on job hunting. I will look at my CVs and repeat those applications again in a different way. I will learn how to improve on my skills. For me, 1 hour every day, as long as I am looking, is dedicated to that. When I have nothing to research on, I research again. I improve myself. So the networks are good. At Cyber Shuja, we have an alumni association, network, where we are together. Again, let us be our brothers keepers. Don't be selfish. If you know that there's a job at your workplace and you feel somebody in Cyber Shuja can actually get it, bring them up. Bring them on board. Let them come. That allows you to even move to a higher position. You are in there first. It allows you to move up as more people come in. Sharing is caring, and sharing takes you quite a lot of places. So that was my brief discussion for today. I hope you've learned something. from it. And I hope it will help. I know this session is usually just 1 hour. If it is Judy, I can go on and on and on. But I'd like to take a couple of questions if they're there. Joy, they're not talking to me. It's my turn.
No worries. I think they are digesting. I think for me, this has really spoken to me a lot. And and just as you said, Prof, today, everyone has a story, and I feel like in a way, also me, I handle a lot of rejection at some point, and I do believe even what you said, that the right job for you is just out there. So we can start with Benjamin. I see they are back. They are back with their questions. Benjamin, you can go ahead with your question.
Sorry, I raised my hand by mistake, but let me just say thank you so much, Prof, for the time you've given us this evening. I've learned quite a lot, and I'm pretty sure the next time I'm going into any job, the next time I'm going into any position, I'm going as someone who is really well equipped, both skill-wise and as a person, how I handle myself. So thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Karibu sana. That is nice to hear.
I saw Benson. I saw Lovell. Lovell, you can go ahead.
Hello, Prof.
Hi.
My question is, did you at some point had fridge type?
Did I have a what? Stage fright?
Yeah.
Yes, once.
Once.
And the reason was I walked into a group, I walked, it was, I can't say, okay, let me tell you what happened. I walked into an interview, all right?
Okay.
I don't know why, for some reason, they were all men, and they were all white, and they were all big, like heavy. And then there were media personalities I knew. Catherine was there. She was the only one who wasn't white. Catherine Kasavuli was there. And then I was like, and then why I say you need to remember, this one, I didn't remember what I had applied for. Either I threw away the application. In fact, it is in the interview that I got to know what I had applied for. So I think I'd applied for a marketing position. So, you get in blank. I got in blank. I didn't know now who are these ones. I didn't know. And then I was like, what is this lady doing here? I entered and I was like blank. I had no idea why. And they called me like, Judy, we are calling you from the organization. And then they talked to me, and the lady was very brief. Your interview is scheduled. Please don't be late. And then I was almost late. So I was in a hurry. I was panicking. My makeup was not on point and all. And I went. So I was like, oh my God. It's like you're leaving yourself to the mercy of these people. And I think that's a bad place to be in. But that one taught me, Judy, make sure whatever you have applied for is kept somewhere. Whatever you have applied, so that when they call you for an interview, you pull out that application and that advert. Judy and writing applications, you should have seen what I wrote when I finally found the copy, which was somewhere. I didn't get the copy of the advert. I got the copy of the letter I had used to apply. They had nice to myself. At the interview, I'm blank. I don't even know what they're asking. So yes, I've been there. And it wasn't, okay, they didn't take me either way. They didn't take me. I don't think I put my confidence straight. Yeah, I kind of panicked a little bit.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
John.
you. I just wanted to hear of your experience. Thank you.
Thanks. Imagine I've never probably gone through it. I think that was the one, but I learned from it.
John?
Hi, Prof.
Hi.
So, my question is, I think there's this upcoming trend, and I think I and maybe a couple of my other friends have faced it. You go to an interview, you perform, and I think normally after an interview, normally you have a feeling. You either know you've aced it, or you have that feeling that probably this was issues. But then you get a response that I think I have one. Let me read it. Thank you for your interest in the above subject position at our institution. Name of the company. We are glad to have had a chance of meeting you on the said date to discuss the opportunity, and we're impressed with your capabilities and agreed you have a great deal to offer. The interview panel carefully assessed each candidate based on the requirements outlined in the job description, but unfortunately, we are unable to process your application further. However, we will keep your resume in our database for further review should we have an opening that matches your skill. So, if you're analyzing such a response objectively, what would your say your opinions be?
There's the last part they have said opportunities matching your skill.
Yes.
So the part where they've said that should there be a position that matches your skill? So there was a little something you didn't reach based on what they wanted. So you're a good candidate as a person. You could try, but there's something you missed. So you see now we are reading the letter objectively. So there's something, and that is why it's very good for you to keep the advert and look at the advert again and then see what they had actually asked for. You know, when you're applying, we're usually hopeful. And we might find like they listed 30 things and probably I had 28, 2 are missing. And maybe those 2 are critical. So I was just trying my luck. So if they meet someone who has actually all the 30, then that person is a better fit if they pass the interview. So for this particular application, had you met the requirement 100%?
I think I later on got to know that they had I think a preference towards a particular, like having a particular certificate. So if you didn't have it, if like somebody else had all of them except and you didn't have like all the certificates they required, probably you'd be shortlisted.
Yes, so you know where the problem is.
Yeah.
So that's how you analyze it in terms of you are not 100% match, but you are a good candidate. Okay, which means there's a skill that you lack. That's why you must keep the advert, because on the advert, then you see what they're looking for. Once you see the advert, you can actually attest. There's nothing wrong with you applying, even if you're not 100%. There are chances that the 100%ers don't apply, which is very common. Maybe the 100%ers are already working in other companies. So it's okay for you. So sometimes you cross your fingers and pray that I am the highest of our group. Okay, so to me, that is a positive response. A negative response would be when somebody tells you that actually they already had a candidate, they were just playing. That would make me have to grieve my loss. Okay, because I'm 100% match, I am not getting it just because they had somebody already that they wanted. You know, that is different. But this one, they were kind enough to tell you lacked a skill and you have actually gone ahead and identified it. So I would still feel nice that you applied, that your CV is out there somewhere, and maybe one day they might reconsider, and you've also had to go through the process and to become objective. It's like your mother telling you when you're young, please read, you need to pass exams, and you are joking. Only after you fail, you realize, but then I should have read. So it's only after you have been rejected for you to say, but then let me just do the certification once and for all. Maybe it's high time I did it. Yep.
That's true.
Who's up next? I can see Edwin. Yeah.
Hi, Judy.
Hi.
So my question is, so in a situation where maybe you've gone for an interview and you have a conversation at some point about maybe maybe ideas or projects that, I guess they're just trying to question your maybe how your expertise on certain things, and you happen to share certain ideas, and unfortunately you don't get the job, but maybe later on you find out that there's some ideas you shared and somehow they've been put into action, or in some kind of project or something like that. So is there a smarter way to do it if you are the one being interviewed? Maybe if you go for another interview, and is there a smarter way to handle such a situation, or you just have to take the risk and whatever happens happens?
So sometimes you'll find that yes, to you, it's your idea, and you think they're using yours, but probably they knew it from the beginning. Probably they had the same thoughts. It's just that you are matching their thoughts. So you did not lose the interview because of your idea. You lost the interview on other reasons. So sometimes you might find that actually, like even I'm interviewing for research or for something, as if it's a PI, I already know what I'm looking for. I already know what the answer is. I'm just trying to compare your answer and mine, just to try and see the focus of your side. So imagine now if you short sell yourself, then that could be one of the reasons why now you're not getting employed. It is because let's not assume, which is usually normal, that because it is what I said and that is what they have done, then it is me who made them do it. It is also just possible they would have done it anyway. So if you short sell yourself, you might never get employed at all. Me, when I went for the lecturing interviews, I carried my research work. Actually, I carried them in a basket. I told them, take, this is what I've done. See what I've done. It's not a story, look, this is what I've done. So it's up to them to make a decision. All right. And there's nothing as good as being interviewed or questions coming from what you have said. Otherwise, I can take you back to ask a question from Paula's class. Maybe you forgot. But if I ask you questions based on your idea, that makes it easier for you to respond. So I wouldn't sell myself short at all.
Okay.
Is there anyone else who has a question? Oh, Claire Chebet.
Yes, hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to ask this question. How do we manage stage fright?
All right. Okay. One of the things you have to do is be prepared first. Go to an interview when you're prepared. For my case, one of the things that made me panic was I'd worked with, maybe it's just they looked, like you go walk into a room for my case, and these are like big proper white guys. And I'm like, I've never had to be in such a scenario. So the room itself made me like, duty. And that time I was young, pretty young. So for me, at that particular point, as I sat there, I always tell myself the worst they can do is to reject my application. In my mind, I always play with my own mind. I tell myself, Judy, the worst they can do is I can not accept you. So give it your best shot. Some people look above their heads or between, where two people are sitting, the two interviewers, you look in between the chairs. So you don't look at them, you look straight on the other side. Some people, you look for the weakest candidate and you engage that one. You kind of, for the females, we look at the females and we talk to them directly. It's like you're answering. Although I need to answer the person who has asked me a question. If you are very prepared, it is easier than when you're not prepared. So for me, I always put myself in a situation where what's the worst that can happen is that they don't employ me. That's it. What's the worst? Because they can't beat you up. So you just have to, I play with my mind and I tell my mind, Judy, this is just like any other thing you do on a daily basis. Just come, relax, and talk to these people. So I make sure anything that would make me in that space, like I am pressed, I make sure I'm not pressed. I make sure I am not hungry. And then I always make sure I am neat. I do my face. I have confidence when I put my makeup on. It gives me that I'm well. So you have to find out what keeps you up. So when I don't want to feel pressed, I don't want to feel angry, I don't want to feel anxious, I tell myself, Judy, give it your best shot. If it is yours, it is yours. I always tell myself, Judy, if this one is yours, you will get it. If it's not yours, then you learn from the experience. And there are many times I've learned from the experience. Sometimes I convince myself, this one, if I don't get it, at least they gave me a chance to do a mock interview. Who will give you a mock interview if it's not a real one? So stage fright, you are confident in the course that you have done. You know you are good in your subject matter. You have gone through the papers, you've gone through everything. Just be good. What's the worst they can do? They can't throw you out. The worst they can do is that they don't take you. And in an interview, people are usually very polite and kind. And that is why if you read the regret letters, they don't start with the bad words. They start by calming you. And that is what the interview is all about. So Claire, just walk in, be confident, just tell yourself, this one is where I get a job. If it's mine, it's mine. I will give it my best shot. If it's not mine, I want to give the best candidate a run for their money. And that works for me.
Okay, thank you. I'll try my best. That's my worst
You're
enemy.
welcome. You're
Yes.
welcome. Yeah.
Marion, Bobby, then Crispus. Then we'll stop from there.
Hi, Pearl.
Hi.
You can hear me.
You have to shout a bit.
Okay, you can hear me.
Okay, we will try.
Okay, my question is, what will be the problem if you are trying to apply for an internship and you are not getting any feedback at all?
Okay. That's okay. Marion, what happens is the numbers also. The number of people who are applying are many for the internships. The internship, there are very many people out there. Almost, think about how many universities we have, Marion. They are probably like everybody is looking for an internship. You know, people do internship after jobs, after graduation. So everybody is looking at the same time. And then for the first time, the government has actually offered it. So do you know how many applications? When I was at PSC, I remember you could have a job that had 5,000 applicants and you're recruiting for 2 positions. So back then we didn't have the resources of replying to each and every of them. So I think they probably pick the ones that are really close, and those are the ones that they deal with. So it could just be an issue of numbers. That is one. But 2, go back to the application. Again, look at, if it's an advert, look at the advert, and then try and see how you are applying. Maybe it is how you have done your CV. That is why I kept returning the CVs. And remember, with each CV that I returned, I actually told you why. Usually, for the group in the soft skills now, I rejected all their CVs. I'm sure they must have felt bad. And that is why I actually thought this is the best place to learn. Because at the workplace, if the CV does not meet those standards, I will not even bother looking at it again. That's how they think. Why would I bother looking at a CV that is incomplete? Some of you didn't even have your names on them. So this one is not serious for a job. So because of numbers, your CV can be tossed aside for the flimsiest reason. That is how you sieve off 5,000, you're now left with the 2,000. Then now you look at the applications again. How has this one qualified? We start with, has he met bare minimum? Because we have bare minimum. Again, you toss aside. You know, you from 5,000, you only want 2 people. And then you go to, is there any other thing that is added advantage? You pick that one. Leave again, you remove some until finally you have 20 that you want to interview. So you could be a culprit of numbers, or you go back to your CV. Go back to your CV, look at it, whether you're doing it correctly. Go back and look at your cover letters, whether you're doing it correctly. Check your social media handles. There's a lady who lost a director job because she had said something on Twitter about animals. Ikaenda, ilikuwa ya board. The job went, not because she wasn't qualified, just because of something she did on social media. Every rejection or every non-response, you learn from it and try and see, can I do anything differently this next time? All right?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Bobby.
Hello, Prof. Judy.
Hi.
So I think late of last year, I applied for a job. Went for I started with a technical assessment, which I passed. Went for the first interview and the second, but then these guys never, they never replied, or they just went silent. I kind of started to believe maybe my salary expectation was on the higher side. Would you talk about salary expectation and why after going for 3 interviews or 2, a recruiter may just not communicate back to you?
So first, that was very wrong of them not to communicate back. At that level, they needed to tell you. So that one is not proper. That means the recruiting agency did not follow proper HR protocols. The one they don't respond is when I'm not shortlisting you. I don't just say it. But anybody who has passed through an interview requires to be informed about the outcome. So the information at the interview, they can tell you in the event you're successful, we will either call you, let you know, send you a letter. So at that level, if they did not, if by doing 3 interviews and they don't respond, I think that was HR malpractice on their side. They should have. And they might not give, in they should have, doesn't mean they give you the reason that, by the way, it was a salary expectation that was too high. But sometimes you can actually gauge. Now, in terms of salary, there are certain principles. If, say, I've worked for the government of Kenya and I'm earning 30,000, there is no way a recruiter or another government agency can give me less than 30. That one doesn't apply. I must be going for a higher salary. And that is how government goes. And then again, it depends on the position I'm applying to. So you need to know in that position, like for the government, what is the scale I'm actually applying to? What are some of those job skills? Take, for example, you're applying to become a lecturer. Go online. See, there's always going to be one advertisement where they recruited lecturers and they said the job skill, and then they actually said how much it is. So if for a fact, for this particular job, there's a place somewhere within that organization, within probably the university, where they said, if you have these qualifications, this is where you fit. If this is where you fit, these are the salary scales. That is a guide. It tells you how much roughly you should actually ask for. You cannot ask for the salary of a VC when you're coming in as an assistant lecturer or a tutorial. It doesn't apply. So that actually gives you a guide. So we are pairing you with mentors. Again, with the mentors, be discussing with them, ask them, how much are people being paid for such positions? Even the people with us who are working, who are talking to us, ask them, because we bring different industry guys. When somebody comes and says, I work at this bank, you ask them, by the way, in your bank, how are people paid? It gives you a base on how much to ask for. Because unless you want to behave like doctors in Kenya are asking for 400,000 and above to be employed by the government. But in the government of Kenya, 400,000 and above, you are a parastatal CEO. So you see, there's a disconnect in my ask and what I want. That gives you a guide. So do your research and find out for that job, how much do they generally pay? If I have never worked at all, you tell them, this is what I would like, but I'm open. You tell them I am open. When you say, for example, you say, I'd be very comfortable with 150,000, but I am open. Telling them that when you're talking to them and saying you're open, make them know, because if you've never worked, you really need the experience. Make them know I'm asking for 150, but I'm open to discussion, and I'd really like to enjoy the experience of working with you. So then the HR person now gauges the I am open, and then also adds the fact that you really want to work here for the experience. You really want to enjoy or be, you like this company. So that now allows that whatever you asked for was probably too high, and so it allows them to come down. And then sometimes you can just ask him frankly, so how much do you offer for the position? I would like this much, but how much do you offer for the position? That can also give you a guide. So don't enter into a salary negotiation blindly. Do your research. They vary from one company to another. The UN pays differently from the government. The private companies pay different from other private companies. The big four financial institutions pay differently. The banks pay differently for the same position. So you have to do your homework every time you're trying to apply for a job there. And that should be able to actually guide you in terms of how much salary to ask for. You can't ask for 400 in a government institution. How now? You can't ask for 20. Are you a sweeper? In the government, sweepers earn the minimum of 14,000 and above. So you have to place yourself very well in the middle. And that is how we negotiate. So there's no blanket salary that go and ask for 100,000. But you can gauge for somebody who has never worked or that does not have experience, where do they usually fall? And that's how I'd go about a salary negotiation. I'm lucky, except for that, when I was a bit young, as I grew much older, I would actually get those salary scales early and I would know. Right?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Crispus.
Judy. Hi, Prof.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. So my question has to do with the rejection email. I'm just wondering, is it necessary to respond to a rejection email? Does it add any value? I have a feeling that sometimes this is just an email responded by a machine. Is there a way that we can tell that this is a response that has been written by a human from HR?
Yes, they try to make it a bit personal. They try to make it at least personal so that it gets to you directly. So some companies make it personal, some don't. So usually if you check the email thread, there's those ones of do not reply. When it's a do not reply, it means it will go to another machine again. So they're not expecting a response from you. If you check the thread of the email, it will tell you do not reply for this one. But the HR people try to make it personal. So if it comes and it is a personal one, you can always say noted with thanks for the noted with thanks, just acknowledging that I noted, I've seen it and I've noted with thanks. Not a long story. They have hurt you anyway, but it's good to acknowledge that noted with thanks and you're done. All right. You're not going to show them that you're desperate or you're feeling so bad about it, but you're just acknowledging that you have received the email. Noted with thanks. You don't tell them noted and I'll never, no, you don't do those things. Just noted with thanks, simple one, and respond. And even if it doesn't take it back, it's still okay. But a good number of them try to make it personal. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. I think Eric will be the last one.
All right. Hello, Prof. Judy. Can you hear me?
Hi. Hi. I can hear you.
All right. Mine is just a brief one now. I was wondering, for those of us who have not had our CVs reviewed, the ones that we uploaded on Scratch and Script.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, is there a plan to have them reviewed, or perhaps maybe when should we expect the feedback? Thank you.
I think, yeah, oh, that's all right, Eric. I've started looking at them. I'll review all of them probably tomorrow. During the course of the day. Yeah, I think I just got a bit held up, but I should be able to do it. I'm also working on the mentors just to ensure everyone has a mentor.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'll do that this week. Don't worry. All right. So I'd like to thank everyone for their questions. For Bitok, what's it? We were leaving.
Yes, Prof. What will you tell me? I'm going for an interview tomorrow.
What is the job about?
Call center representative.
It's a call center representative. What are they looking for?
I don't know. It was someone who referred to me, so I was just texted to be there tomorrow.
Exactly. Have you gone out and read what a call center representative does?
Yeah, I've been going through it.
So you have to go through it. I believe the call center representative is not probably, is it what you're looking for as your career job?
No, not really, but for now,
It's
I
a good
need a job.
start. My point, it's a good start. Just like the way Judy was doing her research application, it was just a start. You understand me? It was just a way of getting in. This is a good thing. Take it positively. Do not feel it is not what you wanted. Go as if this is the one that will open doors for you into that company. Okay. Go as if it is the one that will open doors. You will get in, you will know people, you'll go to meetings. So you go in confidently and give it your best shot. You go in as if you're very comfortable with it, you're very happy, be confident, talk to them, listen to their questions carefully and answer what you have been asked. Don't set your own questions and answer them correctly. Answer what you have been asked. So tell us about yourself. Of course, you will tell them. Is that okay? Have you ever done this job before? The answer is either yes or no. It was not in your CV, you haven't done. But when you know that this is not what I probably have read, when you're telling them about yourself, tell them how you're enthusiastic about getting that job. It sounds like a very interesting area. It will support, give them something that show them that you're really interested in this particular job. Confidence space, learn a lot about the call representative as if this is your it. There's no other job coming. This is the one I must get. Once you get in, like the way I got in research, eventually they employed me permanently. They gave me everything I wanted. So we never know where our entry level is. Don't go those ones of, now, let me just secure for the time being. There's no holding. You're putting your best foot forward. Are we together? Best foot forward. Best foot forward. Confidence, on point. Don't set your questions. Answer what they have asked. Relax and wait for the next one. Remember, when you walk in, you greet them. That's the first thing. Remember, if it is good morning or good afternoon, you greet them. You don't just go and sit. You wait for them to tell you you can sit, or you ask, may I sit? They'll say yes, and then you sit. Are we together? Don't enter as if it is your house. Politeness. Don't put your hands in your pocket at any point. Do not put your hands on your back at any point. Your hands should be in front of you, all right? Back, or you're a guy, so you can put it behind, but not in your pocket at any point. Don't show timidness, show confidence. Just walk in there and talk to them, wait for them to ask. And when they are done, they always ask a question. Do you have any question for us? Don't ask a stupid one. If you know the interview has, you'll gauge how you have gone. If you ask, if you have no question, you say, thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. So that you are not, how do you say it? You can ask a question, then it becomes your undoing, because this might not be your comfort zone or your area. So that is not the time you ask, how much are you going to pay me? You avoid those ones. The HR will get back to you. Because if they throw the question back, so how much do you want? And you're blank, you don't know. Politely leave, and then you're done. Right now, for all of us, we have our CVs. We need to be having a file where our documents are. A presentable CV. When they ask, can we see your documents? You present them in a nice folder. Give it to them. Let them peruse through it. Don't panic. Remember, what is in your CV is what they're going to ask you. So give it your best shot, my friend. It will be well. And also pray before you go. All right?
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prof. I think we'll stop there. If we continue at this rate, we might reach tomorrow. And I think it's been very encouraging. I think at this point, what all of us needed was just encouragement. especially and just to tell you that every single person has been there, not only Prof. I'm sure every single person has faced rejection at any point. Very few people are those who have been born on Sunday, though there are those who are there, but just know that it's a journey. It's not a sprint. It's a journey, and just do your best. And as we've said before, we are usually here there for you. In case you have interviews, you can reach out to a few of us for us to be able to just walk through with you. I think I've walked through a few people, I think from the other cohorts, on just at times even having a conversation with Prof. Judy can give you the confidence that you need for you to hack that interview. Thank you so much, Prof. Judy. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us till this time. See you next week. Asanteni.
Thank you so much and have a good night. We're always there for you. Reach out if you're stuck, especially if I'm happy someone said they're going for interview tomorrow. We'd like to hear the feedback of how it went. Well, if it goes well, let us know. We pray it goes well. If it doesn't, let us know. We learn from it. It's always good to document this kind of kinds of jobs. So for each of us, again, we at the Cyber Shujaa team, we are always ready. If you feel you need us to prep you for an interview, let us know. Joy does that very well. If you want to prep for an interview, if you want double checking on a CV because of a job, let us know. We are going to support you to get that job. Thank you and have a good night.
Good night.
Same. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Tomorrow, guys.